The challenges that the world is facing right now can be overwhelming. Climate change, global pandemics, and the transformations that AI will surely bring readily come to mind. Then there are other less dramatic challenges that are no less important. How do we ensure that our kids are healthy and happy? How do we recognise Indigenous knowledges? And how do we ensure that the new technology we allow into our lives doesn't increase surveillance, cybercrime, misinformation, and worsen our mental health? These diverse challenges all share one thing in common. They all cannot be solved with one discipline alone. They all require integration of frameworks, knowledges, and methods from vastly different disciplines. This is interdisciplinary research. As one researcher put it to me, interdisciplinary research is for scientific questions that can't be solved by sciencing harder. Now, much of the research on these big questions happens in universities. And universities are organised into disciplines, schools, and faculties that separate us out physically and institutionally. Now, this separation is necessary for running a university and delivering brilliant education to our students. But for research, transcending disciplinary boundaries is crucial. Early on in my time at Deakin Uni, I could see we needed a mechanism to support interdisciplinary research, and not just what we might call cognate disciplines, near neighbours like anthropology and geography, or even computer science and engineering. A bigger challenge is bridging the STEM disciplines, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, with the humanities and social sciences, the HAS disciplines. In the talks this afternoon, you'll hear about what happens when a neuroscientist works with a philosopher, or when a systems engineer works with health and education researchers. The Science and Society Network is about these more distant collaborations. Now, working across disciplines comes pretty naturally to me. I began studying medicine as a 17-year-old, wide-eyed and fresh out of school, but I soon felt like something was missing. I loved learning about human biology, but it didn't feel right to be doing this without also learning about the human condition, what it means to be human. So in second year medicine, I picked up literature, which was my gateway drug to an arts degree. And since then, I've combined the sciences with the social sciences, which in my case is anthropology, public health, and medicine, all in the context of addressing Indigenous health disparities. Now, I felt sure that my colleagues across the university would also recognise that bridging HAS and STEM disciplines was crucial to addressing big problems. And I was right. In every faculty, there are colleagues who value interdisciplinary research and wanted to work with me to make the SSN a reality. We are anthropologists, ecologists, designers, historians, economists, geneticists, epidemiologists, bioethicists, and here's just a few of us who are current stream leaders. Some of us have been mentioned. So having got everybody together, we're doing a lot of talking, lots of walking around campuses, we launched way back now in 2017. A couple of us, Tim and I, are in that picture. Looking a little bit younger. Yeah, your hair colour's slightly different. So we launched in 2017 with a big public event, the Emerging Issues in Science and Society, in collaboration with the Australian Academy of Science. And the network had two broad goals: to seed innovative interdisciplinary research from our early and mid-career researchers, and also to create a world-leading node for the field of Science and Technology Studies, or STS, which I'll get to in a minute, but it's the social studies of science. So to our seed funding, from 2019 onwards, with the support of the Office of the Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Research, we've been able to offer seed funding of up to $12,000 for early and mid-career researchers to do exciting projects. And if $12,000 doesn't sound like a lot to you, especially for an organisation with over $1 billion in revenue per year, you're right. It's not a lot. It's not a lot to complete a project, but it encourages researchers to take those first steps. And we've heard about how alignment is such a key element in interdisciplinary research. It can't feel like it's just retrofitted on. And that alignment takes time and it takes thinking together. And that's what these seed funding allows for. And importantly, it sends the message that researchers are not crazy for wanting to try something new and look beyond their disciplinary boundaries. So bit by bit, we built a research environment for interdisciplinary research. Our grantees received tailored support during the year that they received the grants, and then they become part of our alumni community. And some have gone on to become leaders within the network. We have a really unique seminar program where we bring both local and international speakers to come and talk about issues which require interdisciplinary research to address. And there's hundreds of these on our YouTube channel, which I invite you to look at. And for each one, we invite two discussants to reflect on the talk, one from a HAS background and one from a STEM background. And we also model this interdisciplinary collaboration in our governance structure. So each of the leaders of our 4 research streams, we have 2 of them, one from a HAS background and one from a STEM background. So I mentioned this field of science and technology studies. So the SSN is aligned with this international field of study, which brings together a range of social science disciplines that are trying to understand science as a social phenomena. And SSN has a strong presence internationally in this field. Back in 2018, I was the co-chair of the annual international conference, which was held in Australia for the first time and only the second time outside Euro-America in the 50-year history of the society. And then in 2021, I was president of the society and again the first president based outside Euro-America. And Tim Neal also has a very prominent role in the field as the chief editor of the preeminent journal Science, Technology and Human Values. We also have seeded the Australasian Science and Technology Studies Network, which is a regional network in Australia and Aotearoa, New Zealand. And we support PhD students and early career researchers across the region. And we are just about tomorrow to start our annual conference in collaboration with the National Communication Museum, which is Australia's newest museum, just down the road in Hawthorn. So do look that up if you're interested. So all of this adds up to a vibrant environment for interdisciplinary research. And the outcomes are clear. For every dollar invested in our seed funding, we've yielded over 8 times the amount in external funding. Now, this return on investment has far exceeded our expectations. And first and foremost, it reflects that our researchers are superstars. And to reflect on Christina's talk, they have the scale and they have the impact and they have the ambition to realise that. And that's why they're interested in interdisciplinary research. Which is not to say that disciplinary research is not really important in its own right, and we all do that as well. But I think that we tap into these researchers that really have that ambition, and that's where we have that return on investment. So it shows us that they are superstars, which they are, as you'll hear, but but also that supporting and importantly normalising interdisciplinary research creates the condition where outstanding researchers can shine. So today you will hear from 5 of our former grant holders who have gone on to shine brightly. But just before we do that, I'll set the scene by talking about a few of the many other projects that have started in the SSN incubator. They're all very diverse and they have that one thing in common: working across disciplines has made them possible. So interdisciplinary collaboration led engineer Negim Amini shift gears in her project on heat-sensitive jewellery. Inspired by COVID, she developed a bracelet that detects the temperature of the wearer and potentially those in the vicinity. Working with anthropologists and ethicists, she came to understand the potential implications for users and for the community. She shifted the idea of a prototype to a provotype, an object that provokes discussion and debate. So as in her words, she says, she came to challenge an engineering type rather than just presenting it. Materials engineer Rangkam Rajkowa, who is, I believe, with us somewhere here. There we go, Rangam. He is passionate about using material science to address the environmental cost of fast fashion. Over many years, his team has developed methods to extract pigments from textile waste to produce a range of products for screen, spray and brush painting applications. His SSN grant allowed him to collaborate with design academics, Russell Kennedy we have here, and also Indigenous artists who used these products to make some incredible artworks. So under this theme of sustainable colour, continuous culture, they've produced a range of designs that have toured widely in an exhibition, including just last month at the UNESCO International Design Biennale in France. And I hear that there are more grants, more parts of the project that will continue. Anthropologist and past SSN convener Tim Neal brought environmental scientists, social scientists and Indigenous knowledge holders together to work on the potential benefits of Indigenous cultural burning for Victoria. At the time of this SSN grant, there was a large body of evidence and experience in Northern Australia of the benefits of cultural burning, but not in the southeast. And this project was timely, really tragically so, starting just as we had the Black Summer bushfires of 2019-2020. And this project has gone on to encompass multiple grants, policy submissions, and has really contributed and shaped traditional owner fire management in Victoria. Now, Medicare, and we also have Carolyn Holbrook here. Medicare is a pillar of Australian society and a mainstay of efforts to promote the health and wellbeing of the Australian public. Historian Carolyn Holbrook's SSN grant she was collaborating with public health researchers, communications researchers and health economists to study the past, present and future of Medicare. Everything from health benefits, public perception, branding, policy history. And it's culminated in a large symposium to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Medicare last year, and it continues to have more lives in publications and grants. And finally, historian Tiffany Shellam, who's also here, and a SSN stream convener, began this project that was the subject for the SSN grant in a collection of fish specimens, notes and drawings that were collected by Noongar men in southwest Western Australia in the 1840s and held in the National Museum, Scotland. And she assembled a team of fish scientists, museum curators and Indigenous knowledge holders to bring new life to the museum collection. In the Indigenous knowledge held in the collection, such as the cultural names for fish, you can just see on some of the labels here, that was brought back into the community, and the community helped to deepen the ecological knowledge of the fish species, some of which are now extinct. So I hope I've given you a taste for what interdisciplinary research can create. But before I let you hear firsthand stories from our grant holders, I want to acknowledge the leaders that have made SSN what it is. You've heard from Co-Convenor and legal scholar Vicky Huang and from Tim Neal. The next panel will be convened by Karina Traits, SSN Program Coordinator, who is the glue that keeps our collective efforts focused and on track, and also a really outstanding interdisciplinary researcher in her own right. Radhika Gora and Neera Bhatia can't be with us here today, but are former conveners and deputy conveners. And we have Tiffany and Tong here as well, our stream leaders. It's this leadership across the team and the support from the Office of the DVCR that makes SSN what it is. In a world grappling with challenges that defy single discipline solutions, the need for interdisciplinary research is more urgent than ever. SSN shows that breaking down disciplinary silos, fostering collaboration, and nurturing the next generation of researchers can unlock the transformative power of interdisciplinary research. Thank you.